Skip it up and that up. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Rich of ReviewTechUSA, and basketball plus dry humping don't go together too well. That's a foul. You want me to talk about the iPad 3? You want me to talk about the iPad 3, huh? Alright, well not yet, because I'm going to tell you what game this is first. This is Vanquish for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. As you can see, it's a third-person shooter, and it is epically delicious, awesome sauce. It is an amazing game. It got high ratings, but because of the fact that Sega does not know how to market the games they either publish or produce themselves, it was thrown to the wayside and no one really knew about it. But I cannot recommend it enough. You could find it for like $17 a game. GameStop. You could find it even cheaper online. It is an amazingly fast-paced third-person shooter, and it is challenging. It is a tough game, too. Anyway, let's get back to the iPad 3, and let's talk specs first. The iPad 3, which comes out on March 16th, will have a Retina display with a resolution of 2048 by 1536. That's 3.1 million pixels at a pixel density of 264 ppi. It's going to have an A5X processor with quad-core graphics. Now, there's a lot of news articles going around saying that the processor, the main CPU itself, is going to be quad-core. That's inaccurate. It's going to be a dual-core processor with quad-core graphics, and they're not really going into detail about what that means in terms of the quad-core graphics. It's going to include a 5-megapixel iSight camera, 1080p video recording, which I expected, voice dictation that's similar to Siri without the questions, which I never use Siri, so I'm not too sure what that means. This is a pretty big one. It's going to have 3G and 4G LTE connectivity. There's a lot of people who wanted 4G on their iPad. Now you have it. It's going to have 10 hours of battery life, 9 hours of battery on 4G, which is pretty impressive. It's going to be 9.4 millimeters thick and weigh 1.4 pounds, and you could pre-order it right now. And like I said before, it's going to be available on March 16th, and it's going to have iOS 5.1. So I have a lot of people sending me PMs. Rich, what is your take on the iPad 3? I'm lukewarm about it. I have to wait and see. I really need to see what apps come out that utilize the display, and if the processor and GPU can handle that high resolution. 2048 by 1536 is an insane amount of pixels for that GPU to handle. That needs a huge frame buffer and a lot of horsepower. I have a 560 Ti in my machine that I'm recording this video on right now, and I can tell you right now, that high of a resolution, my games would run like a slideshow. So I highly doubt that this high-res screen is going to be used to its full potential for gaming. I just can't fathom a tablet being able to handle games at that resolution natively. So that leaves me and many other people who understand tech asking a huge question. What is that high-res screen going to be used for? Is it just going to be used for basic things like web browsing and non-processor intensive tasks? Or is there some trick up their sleeve with that quad-core GPU that Apple's not really talking about? Like I said, I doubt they have a GPU in there powerful enough to play games at that high of a resolution, but who the hell knows? We'll see. And the only other gripe I have, but it's a ginormous one. Why is the screen's aspect ratio still 4:3 in the year 2012? Everything runs in widescreen. Every single application, games, books, movies. People want a widescreen tablet. All of your competitors are widescreen, except for the cheap tablets. Apple, why do you refuse to go over to 16:9? Sorry. So what's your take on the iPad 3? Are you excited about it? Do you already have it pre-ordered, or are you going to wait for it to actually come out and see how it performs first? Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and as always, thank you for supporting ReviewTechUSA.